Ladies and gentlemen, engineers and enthusiasts, welcome back to another episode of Engineering Talks. I'm Omkar, your host, and today we embark on captivating journey into the world of process excellence, innovation, and leadership with remarkable individual. Our guest needs to no grand introduction. His story is woven into the fabric of engineering landscape. He's a trailblazer and entrepreneur and consultant, a true influencer in the field of data analytics, ML, lean methodology, and much more. Joining us today is none other than Amitabh Saxena, the Chief Consultant and CEO of Anexas, global organization from training and consulting. With over 33 years of industry experience, Amitabh has left an indelible mark on the world of process improvement, having led Lean Six Sigma, data science, ML projects across the globe. But this is not just a conversation about methodology and consulting. It's a deep dive into the Anexas story, a narrative that spans continents, industries, and encompasses the essence of innovation, collaboration, and continuous learning. From being a graduate engineering trainee in a BPCL to co-founding startup, advising on IT companies and making strides in healthcare, quality improvement, and many more. As we dive into this conversation, let's remember a timeless quote from Six Sigma World said by William Edwards Deming: "In God we trust, all others bring data." Today, we are not just bringing data, we are unraveling the rich tapestry of Amitabh journey. So, whether you are seasoned professional in the engineering or someone just starting their journey, buckle up for an insightful conversation that transcends discipline and resonates with the core principle of leadership, collaboration, and the pursuit of excellence. This is Engine Talks, and this is the Anexas story. So, my first question for this episode: your journey from a chemical engineer and MBA graduate to the founder of Anexas is truly inspiring. Can you take us through some pivotal moments in your early careers that set the stage for your entrepreneurial journey?
Okay, so when I graduated from LIT, I joined Bharat Petroleum as graduate engineer trainee. After that, I joined because I wanted to earn more money. And those days, I was earning hardly. Nowadays, you may laugh, but my salary was 2,500 rupees per month. But that was a very good salary in 1990. And just for increment of 600 rupees per month, I left Bharat Petroleum and I joined a company called Herdilia Group, which was in New Mumbai. And the best part was this company. It gave me an opportunity to see the company right from the beginnings. Means when I joined Herdilia Universe, it was in the design stage. So they were designing the ethylene propylene diene rubber plant, and then I participated a little bit in the design stage. Then, because I was very young, so I can't say that I was responsible for that, but I just participated. I saw through the whole journey. So, over the period of 3 years, I saw designing last stages, then erection, then commissioning of the plant, and then operations. So that gave me a good idea how a typical large petrochemical company starts from the beginning, because these things you are never taught in the college. And uh, and how to deal with the people, how different sets of people, designing culture is different, erection and commissioning, erection guys are different, commissioning guys are different, and then of course operations are like totally hardcore. The people who work in shifts, they are totally different, and I was part of the whole journey. By the way, when I was in college, I used to also participate in the uh, cultural activities, and I was also part of the youth festivals. I represented the college, and I also won Best Delegate Award for the college. In those days, JC's Youth Festival used to happen. I don't know whether it happens now or not. And uh, I also used to write poetry and plays, etc. So while I was working in Bharat Petroleum and in Hardilia, I was also on Saturdays and Sundays doing some programs on radio, where I would recite either a poem or when the Mumbai FM started, then I also was part of their commissioning team of Mumbai FM channel. So I still remember the first voice Mumbai heard. That was not the commissioned stage. It was a trial stage. So 7 days trial. They had taken half an hour each during 1991, I think. And I was the person whose voice was used for during these trial stage, it's a pilot stage. And FM 107.1 megahertz पर ये आकाशवाणी का मुंबई केंद्र है. I still remember those words. Every day I used to say, and then half an hour we used to just play some music, usually the Shastriya Sangeet, etc. And then some little bit of film music. So these two things were happening simultaneously. Then and also uh, I because Jamnalal Bajaj was like very reputed college those days, much ahead of number one was IIM Ahmedabad, and second was Jamnalal Bajaj. So I thought of doing MBA also. So because I was able to speak, but my English was very poor. Means I couldn't. Usually in Nagpur, what happens? We don't speak in English. Those days we did not speak in English.
Yes.
So I couldn't speak anything in English. So so that was one of my disadvantage. But somehow, I memorized few sentences for the group discussions, etc., and somehow passed through the examination of Jamnalal Bajaj as well. And I joined MBA. So I had by 1995 I had acquired the degree of MBA. I came to know about how balance sheet is read. That is the only basic thing I think all engineering guys should be taught about, and how a balance sheet actually is made, and how profit and loss statement is done. That was the only greatest learning, I would say, which I could have had in just 2 months or 3 months in any of my separate sessions. But anyway, that was one of the good learnings I got from MBA. So these two things simultaneously were happening. In 1995, I got an offer from Indorama Group that was in Thailand, where uh, again the same thing. They were starting a new venture called polyethylene terephthalate manufacturing, and that was their first plant. And today they are the largest manufacturer of polyethylene terephthalate in the world. So I'm proud to tell that I was part of that first plant which they erected and commissioned in somewhere in Lopburi, which is somewhere near. And I then again got to see the whole journey: erection, commissioning, operations. So this part was something like somehow I got see all these experiences combined together, uh, become I would say tell you the path where you will be going in future. Probably that वो एक कीड़ा होता है ना कि कुछ अपने अपना भी करना चाहिए. ना, I cannot do something large, like it requires millions of dollars for crores of rupees of investment, commissioning a plant, etc. लेकिन अपना हम क्या कर सकते हैं? तो I got an opportunity. Again, by the way, I got married. Got married to a doctor, of course, from India only. And she told me that I can't stay in Thailand, so go back to India. So I said, okay, fine, no problem. So I came back to India, and I joined because I was struggling. I couldn't join any new company. So 1 year I was, and it was a designed period of, you can say, sabbatical. Nowadays they say, earlier it used to be, अरे आपके पास job नहीं है, बहुत problem होता था उन दिनों. But then I thought that yes, 1 year gave me a very good time to think about what exactly you want to do, etc. And that time I think everyone should have. It could be forced or it could be by design. Today, you guys are able to take these 6 months or 1 year, uh, time to think about what exactly where you're going and what you want to do. It is very, very important. So if it is forced by circumstances, you are lucky. And if it is not, sometimes you can even think of doing that. So that is one thing I would recommend, because you can't think when you're working in some company, you can't think about you know all these things. Okay, so this was by year 2000. Then I thought, like, what exactly I need to do, something I need to do. So I joined the Indian Statistical Institute's some statistical training program, and there it struck me that I think this is a good mix of whatever I have been starting a training and consulting company in statistical techniques, improving the manufacturing processes, and later on services also, uh, is a good idea. And understanding your capabilities, your capacities, and your requirements of funds. You have limited funds. I
Yes.
thought starting as a trainer and training company would be a good idea. So that's how, to answer your question, all these things, incidents of 10 years led me to start Annex.
My next question was, how was your background as a GET in a BPCL shape your understanding in the petroleum refining processes, overall refinery chart, and how these things influence your career choices?
See, when you are a GET, people don't take you seriously, and you are out of college. You don't take things seriously, and that's not natural, because it's like a transition stage. So some people are really good. They take every opportunity seriously. They are studious. Everything they take very seriously, and they what is supposed to be achieved. But in my case, what happened was. In my case, that period did not. It exposed me to different parts of the refinery. It also told me how an organization functions. And rather than technical parts, I was more looking for how a typical organization combined together as a system. You have apart from operations, engineering, maintenance, scheduling department. A safety department, HR department, finance department. So when you look at things as a system, you learn much more than what you would learn if you just focus on one particular department. So the good part about Bharat Petroleum was we were rotated in different departments within 1 year, and I got to learn a lot of things. After that, we were placed in some particular department, and now that was supposed to decide our future course of life. So somehow I did not like that, and also there was they were never those days. I'm not sure what's happening now, but those days they were not sure. We are not sure whether we'll be absorbed in the company or not. So before we completed that 1 year, I left the organization. So yeah, so GET, as a GET, graduate engineer trainee, I can say that Bharat Petroleum gave me exposure to different departments of an organization.
So, Anexas is a global organization for training and consulting, presence in almost 50 countries. What inspired you to start the Anexas, and how was your vision for the company evolved over the years?
A vision for Anexas you are talking about. Yeah, so when I started more like you can say solopreneur, as they say, individually,
Yes.
because I did not want to take any risk. Coming from a lower middle class background, uh, you don't want to lose money. In fact, you always want to gain money. And this did not require any investment. In fact, we'll take. First, I started with training. So we have to take the money from others, and then after that, you uh, execute the order. So there was no investment. So it was only earning. Uh, but over the period of time, I realized that this will be more like a job again. I will be a self-employed person. So then I thought of hiring more people. I thought of getting a supporting team. So I started with the marketing team, and then I started with someone in admin. Then I replicated myself, like in the sense that I trained two or three more people, and over the period of time, by the way, some LITians also joined me. Like over now we are 17 years. So I think two, three LITians have been part of our journey. And after working with us, they have got very, very good placements in various organizations, multinationals. So thought of training others, and then they would do the training and also consulting. So then we've diversified into consulting, and as we stand today, we have got more than 200 organizations around the world where we have served. Currently, we are serving 20 organizations in different parts of the world. And it is happening because there are a lot of people. So there are around 30 people in our team, and because we don't need too many people, the reason being each person is capable of handling three, four clients, and our clients are diversified from manufacturing, banking, healthcare, hospitals, uh, and supply chain, logistics, entertainment companies, uh, theme parks. So different people, different skill sets are all are needed. So the vision has shifted from focused on yourself, your skills, making you great. Then after that, making the team great, developing more leaders. So just you being good and skilled is not enough. You have to make others also. And
Right.
sometimes there's a risk if you make others skilled, then they will leave you, and obviously that happens. But that's part of the journey. But the whole, as I said,
Yes.
system, you have to have a systems thinking. So the system should be like
Mm.
that. You train people, they are with you for some time, and then they leave for better opportunities, which is perfectly.
Right. As an advisory board member of Data Midterm and co-founder of AcriPro, focusing on healthcare accreditation, how do you see the technology shaping the accreditation journey for hospital and clinics?
Yeah, so again, for data midterm, because what we were into statistical and data analytics domain for the last 16 years, so we thought of starting a company called Data Midterm, which was totally focused on data analytics. And there, because nowadays everyone talks about AI, and we started it a long time ago when AI was not a craze. Now everyone is talking about data analytics and AI. It has become a cliche now. But and that is why we don't focus too much on that part as of now. I still go back to my Lean and Six Sigma part, because actually it is a whole package. It includes data analytics, but it also includes the improvement and giving the results. While data analytics is all only about analyzing the data and giving it to the
Right.
process owner. So I said in data midterm, as an advisory board member, I keep guiding them, keep telling them, it's not only on analyzing but also giving suggestions and executing those suggestions, which is very much part of any process excellence journey which we undertake, like Lean. In AcriPro, in fact, when we started, uh, actually one of my very early students, in fact, two of my students, one was a student, and another was my student's student. So, she is a very skilled and very knowledgeable person in healthcare accreditation. So she thought of coming out with a accreditation. So along with both of them, in fact, they came out with a very good idea, and with their excellent skill sets and excellent experience in that area, I just provided the support. So sort of, a new person who has got an idea would need administrative support, or in general other kinds of. So it really went ahead. It really went well, and uh, it got acquired by one of the Saudi companies, where still I am a minor shareholder now. Being a minor shareholder, uh, you are on the board member. So whatever is possible as an advisor, what I would like to focus on there would be, obviously, accreditation is an important business. Accreditation means, you, like, you have ISO 9000. Most of the people would know ISO 9000, and if people from India, and they are your listeners are from India, then you have NABH in India. Every hospital has to go through the NABH. So how all these things can be sort of automated, so that part. And being in Bangalore, it's very easy to get software. So we came out with a software application, and again, nothing was done alone. It was a teamwork, domain experts from healthcare accreditation, and the zeal to do something,
Mm.
given by two of the people whom I just mentioned, and also the intent to do something great. So these three things combined together, it made happen. The Pro dream, a success. So yeah, though, so in the future, everything is about data analytics. As they say, data is the new oil. So every company needs to work on that, and every individual who is thinking of it,
Part of
his
it.
her future should be into data analytics. In fact, one of my I'm doing a training for LIT final year students. Now I have started last 2 3 years. I've started free green belt training to all the final years so that they get good knowledge of data analytics and also they get prepared for their future career. They may not realize the importance of these trainings or certifications when they are in final year, but they would realize after 2 to 3 years or 5 years when their mindset change actually affects the kind of decisions they will be taking. So it is the future. As of now, data analytics is the latest, which is of course part of AI also. And I feel that every student, every person, every individual professional should have some knowledge of. And by the way, I also conduct free yellow belt training programs. So those who are interested, they can always join my free yellow belt training programs, uh,
Right.
which I regularly conduct.
My next question is your skill set spans from retail marketing, analytical skill, ML, Six Sigma, and how do you integrate this diverse skill set to drive comprehensive process improvements?
See, process improvement, the methodology, the DMAC methodology, is not domain specific. It is about analyzing the data, making meaningful conclusions. So the skill set remains the same. The cause and effect diagram, the Pareto analysis, the hypothesis test, the chi-square test, and regression, multiple regression, binary logistic regression, they remain same. So it is about data. Data is expressed in numbers, and these numbers can come from retail, they can come from oil industry, oil and gas, they can come from hospital, they can come from an educational institution. So we are experts in analysis of the data, plus making meaningful conclusion, and then finding the root cause of whatever we want to improve, whatever is preventing that improvement, and then after that we give solutions. So it's a in a way advantage that if you have this particular skill, you can prosper in any domain. It's a dual advantage. Like if you're thinking of building a career only in this particular field of process excellence, then of course you have to master these skills. But if you are, let's say, a chemical engineer and you want to be a better chemical engineer, this will be adding on to your skill set, and you will be. If you are a maintenance engineer, then you will be a better maintenance engineer. If you are a operations or operations manager, then you will be a better operations manager. If you are a administrator, you will be a better administrator. So best part about being in process excellence is that you can actually really go into any domain. You can choose your own domain. It's an airline industry. We have airline industry, hotel industry, and whatnot. All industries, the same tools and techniques.
Like PMP syllabus applies to all the industries.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Your introduction mentions your role as a humorist and poet. How do you incorporate humor and creativity into your leadership style and organization cultures?
Yeah, so as I mentioned earlier, my Hindi is very good, and because if you are really good in one language, it helps you a lot. It
Right.
gives you clarity of thought. Initial stages, I was not proficient in English at all. I couldn't speak English, I think, till the age of 30, 30, 32, I would say. Until when I started conducting the training programs. You're forced to speak English. And that is the unfortunate part of our generation, or I think I will include your generation also. Probably the next generations in future of 20, 30, 40 years down the line, because now the education policy, and now they're thinking of getting all the professional courses in the mother tongue. So a Telugu person will learn in Telugu, even your Marathi, there you'll be learning all the. You can be a doctor with the full
In Marathi.
syllabus in Marathi, and you will be a better doctor. I can tell you that. You can come out with
Yes.
new research diseases because half of our time, let's say now I have got 33 years of experience. I would say 15, 20 years of my life got wasted. And that was very creative part and very energetic part of my life wasted in translation. So if you are so our productivity reduces, your innovativeness, your creativity, everything just wipes out. But being in poetry, this one thing is, because I did not leave that part. The reason was that, it was helping me. It could have helped us more if the whole part was done in our native language. But unfortunately, the system was not like that. Still, the world, you if you speak English, you're really nice, considered to be very sophisticated and a very learned person. So, which we have to accept. So, if something is like that, we have to accept. We can't complain much about it. So, the poetry, actually, I stuck to that because it helps me being innovative. It helps me being expressive. There was one poet, I have to say now, uh, Madhu Pandey. He's no more now. Just I think last month he passed away. He told me once, I when I was in college, he used to see me all these things, and I used to tell, well, uncle, I can't because I have to earn money. so, so he used to say, don't feel bad about it, but still keep poetry with you, keep the language with you, because whatever you do, even if you're not doing poetry, but whatever you do, you're an engineer. At that time, I was an engineer. So even that will be reflected, poetry will be reflected in whatever you do. So don't
Hmm.
leave it. And those words I still remember. And that is why so I'm not a professional poet. I would love to. I remember one of my interviews in LIT in final year. One of my interviews, I've written in my book also. Professor Gisard sir was very young those days. He was just 1 or 2 years, and he was he was our placement officer, and he was to say that, well, I would like to get everyone placed, and that was the first year. I think we got 100% placement in. So he used to train us really well. So the first interview, I think. So I passed everything. I was in the top four. Then finally they said we have to actually select only three. So we had to drop out one person. So they asked, everyone was called inside the room and asked only one question, whatever question. So the questions would have been different. So they asked me one thing, what you would like to do in future. So I told them when I am 50, I would like to write poetry. So they dropped me.
Hmm.
Then Professor Gisa said, "Oh, what kind of questions, answers you are giving? You should not be like, you should say, I would like to become a good chemical engineer, whatever, whichever job it is." But I said, like, then I learned my lessons, and next interviews I really did. So the fact is that uh, something which you love, some people love dancing, some people love singing, some people love whatever. So keep it with you. But if funding is not an issue, then you become a full-time dancer or full-time singer or a poet. But if finances are an issue, then still keep them
You
with
can
you.
continue that.
Will help you. It will help you in whatever you do. And it has helped me a lot.
Yes.
It has helped me venture out in different countries, meeting people. Uh, People can sense that, when I go to
Yes.
Europe, US, Singapore, Australia, wherever, they can see that something, they can feel it.
यस, राइट। मैंने भी आपकी बहुत सारे मतलब पोएट्री सुनी है कॉलेज।
बिल्कुल.
एज अ एलआईटीएन, मतलब आपका एक अलग पहचान है कॉलेज में, एज अ पोएट और एज अ
Yeah.
फ्रॉम एनेक्सस एंड
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thanks. Which batch you are from?
आई एम फ्रॉम 2019।
2019. Okay, good, good,
यस,
good. I was very active those days, 2016, 17, 19. Now I think,
राइट।
but I keep contributing to LIT. My
You are literally pursuits include being a part-time announcer at All India Radio and a freelancer writer. How has this creative side influenced your approach to problem solving and leadership?
Yeah, so that's a good question. See, what happens in engineering, you're taught a particular technical skills, which of course you have to learn. Your unit operation, how the distillation column works, the equations, heat exchanger, heat transfer, all that, mass transfer. And you have to, of course, be taught about it because there's a limited time and limited span of people also. Those days, and sometimes I feel very bad that the during the age of 18, 9, somewhere, when the person is around 17, 18, 19, 20, you are giving them the best of the best knowledge, and he's not in the best of the best mindset of receiving that knowledge, because that age is something different. So what happens is that, because I'm talking, I don't know what's the syllabus now, but those days it was totally focused on engineering, nothing else. So that leadership part, interaction part, speech part, speaking part, that's all ignored. So this creative part actually helped me, participating in the, let's say, doing a play. You're dealing with different people, different mindset. Everyone has a ego. So there was no director available, so I also directed the play. There was not many actors available, I also acted in the play. So that actually sometimes develops you, and it helps you to become more innovative, creative, which usually with this kind of training you will not get in a typical technique. Even in MBA also we were taught about, I did in finance, my specialization was in finance. We were talking about what was international finance, what was corporate finance, what was apart from other things, HR, everything is taught in MBA. But again, this thing is missing, the real part, leadership skills, etc. So this you can develop only through different participation activities. Like, I would say, in college it would be like cultural activities. In otherwise, when you are working in a corporate, you should have those hobbies on Saturdays and Sundays, have some meets, go out for trekking, participate in some good group activity, and that will help you develop your leadership skills. So something this is uh, uh, very much essential to progress in life, because as you grow, your technical skills will matter hardly for 5 to 10 years. After that, what matters is how you are able to get the people together, all these techies together, and uh, take get an output of this whole group, because sum of total, like sum of individuals, is that the whole part is much more than individuals, what individuals can contribute. So the leadership, gets lots of output from a group of people by increasing their productivity, inspiring them, and these skills definitely are coming from other types of your, you can say, hobbies or other types of.
Right, of course. Having a work across diverse industry, what cross-functional industry or what cross-industry learnings have you found most valuable in your role as a process improvement leader?
Yeah, so there is one tool called benchmarking. Benchmarking means you learn from other industry. Learn from other industry in the sense that not necessarily from similar industry. So a hospital can learn from a bank can learn from a hotel, and that's something which I have really got a good insight in. And sometimes I also give ideas, although giving ideas is not part of our consulting job, but still I give ideas. People say, how do you get ideas like that? Because I have been on, last week I was in a hotel, 5-star hotel, consulting them how to increase their clients or how to improve the taste of the food. Before that, I was with the Aramco, which is the largest petrochemical company in the world, and there we were talking about distillation and how to reduce the steam consumption in the distillation unit. And then suddenly after that, you are in a largest retail company of the Middle East, where we are trying to reduce their warehouse costs. So how to change the layout of the warehouse so that the movement gets reduced. Now these things may appear different to a person, but if you see, like if you are in the spacecraft, the whole world is like a dot for you. So or you look at from the moon, if you look at the earth, it's like a, say, a sphere. When you have a holistic picture, a bigger picture, that you are part of, you are serving a setup, serving not a particular industry. You're not siloed. Again, you broaden your approach of, you're serving a group of individuals who are engaged together to produce an output. So in a hotel, they are trying to please the customer or making a stay of the customer comfortable. There, you're about to producing an oil which is perfectly suited for an aircraft. Oil means in the ATF, aviation turbine fuel I'm talking about, which is perfectly suited to run an aircraft or fly an aircraft. So the sequence of activities remains the same, and surprisingly, the problems we see are similar in nature. The problems which we see are similar in nature. Now, these parts you can only understand once you understand these methodologies, Lean and Six Sigma. So when you have a systems approach, so when we go to an organization, I'm not looking at an oil company as an oil company or a hospital as an hospital. I'm looking at the system of people working together, producing an output. And this system, that this model remains same. And because this model remains same, a solution in healthcare which I got, I can apply in, and then they say, how do you get this idea? So this answer your question to your question. So being in different industries, but still looking at everything as a system makes it possible for you to get the ideas from one industry and apply it to other. For example, I'll give a small example. This warehouse we are talking about, which we are actually serving next week, I'm going there again. Uh, they were in there was fruits and vegetable warehouse of a retail company, largest retail company of Middle East. The cleanliness was an issue, so we just benchmarked with the operation theater of a hospital. What they do, there you cannot have unclean equipment or unclean hands also. So how to ensure? And same thing you can apply this to a kitchen of a five-star hotel, where again everything should be clean. So all these things are very much.
Right. Next question is you have authored the book called The Anexas Story. There is an entrepreneur in you and everyone. How has the process of writing and sharing your story impacted your personal and professional growth?
So that was something, a decision which also needed a sacrifice. So almost I sacrificed a good time there. I had to actually uh, spend good time in writing. At times, I had to even say no to some of the clients. Sometimes I had to send some of my other team members to some places where I would have loved to go. And in a way, we also, business wise, we suffered some loss. Loss in the sense that we could have earned more money, but that was a conscious decision. But I can tell you that book was a best gift. Of course, many people have read it, and many people have given very good uh, feedback. And also, many people have told me that they have got inspired to become. In fact, three or four of the LITians have now left their job and started their own venture uh, after reading the book. And apart from many others, maybe I have 500, 600 people have written to me personally. Many people don't even write. They get change their mindset, but sometimes they don't write. But 500, 600 people have written to me in through LinkedIn or emails or phones. So that was something which I would say it did not give me money, but it gave me satisfaction. And I sometimes feel that it is the best gift from my side, not only to the people, but also to myself. Because sometimes, and as you grow older, and I'm just telling everyone has to grow old, the book also shows you the path. The same book shows you the path. Oh, 5 years ago, I wrote in 2019, and when I read one of my chapters, I said, right. I could solve the problem that, and it was me who solved. So why not solve it again? So I strongly advise everyone to either write a book or actually what you are doing right now. See, nowadays, writing a book or doing a program or expressing your thoughts, even on Instagram, Facebook, or LinkedIn, that is equal to writing a book. Because when you read your, past history, etc. So I strongly recommend, if you can write a book, why not? Otherwise, write your memories in different social media, and rather than social media, keep downloading it also, because after some time Facebook may not exist and your LinkedIn may not exist, and they may be replaced by something new technology. So you have to even store these things somewhere. A book is of course the best way to do that, but otherwise also you can download all these things periodically, so that you don't lose out on them, and these things will become a very good guide to you in future. So my journey of like 1 year, I spent around 1 year. Almost, I toned down myself. Uh, but most of the book was written in 6 days. I stopped everything. I said, like, I switched off myself from the whole world. In 6 days, I said I'll finish it off because the journey is like a long journey. You have to have a thought, what will be the sequence, which topic you are going to write. It takes time, but it takes like 5 6 months to put the things in place. And then once everything is in place, the structure is created, then you have to have, and that was my style. 6 7 days I said I will switch off from the world, and I just kept on writing, and I finished. So that was the journey, and that was the experience, and that was, my overall experience related.
Right. Same is with our Engineering Talks show. One of the motives of the Engineering Talk show is collecting the lesson learned by the industry professional. So, which lesson learned are can be the use of our young engineers. They can avoid that mistake. They can take a lessons from that. Our whole journeys of industry professional, and they will go ahead. Like you said, some of the LIT and left job and started their own firm. So like that we are doing, and we are also doing with the parallelly with the job. When we have a proper finance, we can do a full time podcasting. We'll build the full time engineering community, which will serve the engineers. Looking back at your extensive career, what legacy do you hope to leave behind, and what are your future goals for Anexas and your personal journey?
Yeah, so I would say that because being in a training profession, automatically you influence a lot of lives. So there are thousands, I think more than 150,000 people now whom I have trained either online or otherwise in the classroom. So the mindset change, data orientation, which I have given, making decision based on data, and many people actually understood the essence of it. So that is something which I would say I have already done, and uh, that would be that's I'm very happy with that kind of thing. I wouldn't say I'm a very hardcore businessman because businessmen are different. Businessmen are like uh, they talk about growth, they talk about investments, bringing in more investments, etc. So I'm more of I would say I can myself, I treat myself as more of a teacher who's able to earn a little bit good money apart from actually my both parents before they retired they were teachers in Nagpur University. So uh, probably I'm getting all that inspiration from them. But of course, being a teacher obviously doesn't will make you go around the world, etc., and meet different people in different industries. So one thing which I would say is the influence which I have brought into the people through my trainings and consulting in the industries, and which helps the society because you reduce the cost. Eventually, it helps society. Something which I am proud of. And the future course of what Anexas would be, uh, I would like to have a simple organic growth, and I would like to continue with the uh, in really, actually, I have never planned anything, to be very precise, in my whole life. But I would say that I will continue to serve more people, more clients, more industry, and I have started some new programs. In fact, I've started one a program in Hindi in Green Belt and Black Belt, which is almost free. Means free training is free, but if you need certification, then obviously for that we have to pay to some certifying bodies. So for that, we charge a very minimal money, but training is totally. So something which I would like to do in future would be providing more knowledge to people, and if possible, free of cost. So that's what. Uh, but that doesn't make business sense for the company. So they're my individual goals. Company can run. I'd like to hand over the company to someone capable who can run this company in the near future, and devote my time to spreading more knowledge.
So, as this is the last question, you can start the sharing the screen and show our audience a PowerPoint presentation about the annexes. And is there any message or insight you had like to share with our audience on summarizing your journey and the principle that have guided you throughout the span?
So try to tell the story of Anexas very briefly in the next 10 minutes. I was invited to a Z Business Studio, and he started with the questions. He invited, in fact, I thought, I will be asked a lot of questions related to business, etc. But he asked different types of questions, but generally related to life. But of course, I explained what is Lean Six Sigma.
कंसल्टिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एनेक्सस के सीईओ अमिताभ सक्सेना जी ने कर दिखाया है। जरा सा कतरा हौसले से कुछ यूं उभरता है समुंदरों के लहजे में, फिर वो बात करता है। जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत कीजिए लीन एंड सिक्स सिग्मा कंसल्टिंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन एनेक्सस के सीईओ अमिताभ सक्सेना जी का। बहुत बहुत स्वागत है आपका हमारे शो।
So the thing is, anyway, so the thing is, I came out of the program, but I thought, like, a lot of things need to be said, and because of that, actually, uh, I actually wrote the story. That's how after coming out of that interview, I thought like a lot of things need to be told, which can't be captured in 30 minutes interview, and that is why I wrote the story. Um, I also have got these habits, in the whatever learnings I have, I keep in my mind. I think, imagine that something like billboard is there in front of me and they're guiding paths. So you may forget, like for example, today also in this interview, I learned a lot of things. So I'm imagining that there's a billboard, and one of the things which I learned from this interview, I'll keep it on the wall. I'll keep it as a billboard, which will keep guiding me in the future. I told you already how what was the incubation of a non-entrepreneur. Actually, our system, our education system, our society generally, and those days in 1980s, I'm talking about, did not train you to be an entrepreneur. They are training you to be a person who can work for an organization. Unfortunately, that's the fact of life. So all the people who are graduating in from our educational institutions, they are actually being trained to work for an organization. But now there are limited organizations. Someone has to create those organizations to for others to work. So now today I realize, I sometimes tell that after the age of 40 or 45, actually everyone should leave their job and create jobs. They should start some small setup so that the new generation which is coming out of the colleges, they should get an opportunity to work, because many of the people are now jobless because there are not enough people who can start companies. Everyone has got, by the age of 40 years, you've got enough experience of life, enough experience about the industry, that you can at least have a small setup. It's not necessary that you have to have 200 member company and 1000 crore member 1000 crore rupees of company, big setup. It can be a very small setup which can even employ 5 people. So imagine a one person employing 5 people will solve whole unemployment problem in the whole world. So, or in the country, if I want to be more specific. So ultimately it was not uh, uh, you know it was not the kind of learnings we were told, but the circumstances brought me to this place. That journey I have already told about it, but one of the questions you have asked was, how did it what was the trigger point? So one of the trigger point was, I was taking a flight. I was working in insurance company, a French insurance company, and I was told to teach some Europeans who were coming to Paris to get trained in Lean and Six Sigma methodology. That was in 2000, year 2002 or three. And one of the person who was sitting next to me, he asked me like why you are going to Paris. He was a French person. So I said, I'm going for a training. So he said, which training you are attending? I said, no, I'm not attending the training. I'm actually conducting the training. He said, oh, you're a software person. I said, no, I'm not a software person. I'm a process excellence consultant. So he said, improving the processes, improving the business. I've never heard that Indians are teaching that part. I've heard about softwares. And by the way, I'm talking about 2002, 3. Nowadays, you see everywhere Indians, at the helm of many companies. But that was not true those days. So he said, well, good luck to you. Means in a way he was trying to say, well, you may or you may not, you may succeed or you may not succeed. So I felt little bad, but actually he did not mean much. He just passed a casual remark. I was young those, I was in my early 30s. It hurt me a lot, and I said that make this person prove wrong by first training the people really well, plus also setting up a consulting company for Indians, of course, who will be conducting training programs in Europe. And that was just, it happens when you feel bad, you start dreaming. मैं ये कर दूंगा, मैं वो कर दूंगा. So it was a casual dream in that flight. But I think that was the trigger of starting Anexas after 2 to 3 years. So one thing I learned was turn your wounds into wisdom, inspiring you to challenge your limits. So kabhi kabhi you are hurt, sometimes you get hurt. So it's okay. What that hurts sometimes can lead to better things in life. So don't be afraid of all these problems, issues in your life. That's one thing I would like to say. And also during the training programs, when I conducted in Europe, I was told about my pronunciation because by then I was still learning to speak English and my pronunciation was not really good. It was heavily accented. So I learned from listening to others, and uh, I have also given in my book what exactly was the learnings, like uh, the way I used to speak certain words was totally different, and that details I have given in my book. I won't repeat it, but good pronunciation and excellent spoken grammar actually boost your stature substantially. That too with a little, and these things are again not taught to us in school or college. So this is a simple thing. It's like, go to a call center training company. In 2 to 3 days, they will correct your pronunciation so good that you completely transform yourself. And that transforms your whole personality. Now, this simple thing, not many people know, or even if they know, they don't execute it. So why not do that? One of my dreams was okay in London, Madame Tussauds. I met not this one. This is not real Amitabh Bachchan. So this was the wax statue of him. So being my name Amitabh, I thought like one day I'll meet him anyway. So that never happened. But one thing I learned, when I conducted a successful training program uh, in uh, in Europe, I thought like I can really do pretty well in consulting and training business. So one fine day, I I was by the time I was working in a bank, I was heading their Lean Six Sigma advisory services and transformation. So I told that I would like to quit and I would like to start on my own. And my managing director told that you're doing pretty well. Your training is not going to take you anywhere. Uh, it's not a lucrative business, and you'll lose out on a lot of things. You'll not be. You are supposed to be promoted next year. You'll be director and managing director and all that. You'll be losing out. I said it's okay, fine. Let me uh, take that risk, and I took that risk, and I started on small scale, which I already told you. So don't have to wait for big things. Sometimes people are waiting. Arey, I want a venture capitalist to fund my adventure. It's nothing like that. Start it with minimum resources, and then take it on further. In the second year of our business, I thought that let me explore different countries, and Middle East was one opportunity. And I learned that where people don't go, if you go, they are the best opportunities. So the best opportunities lie where the others dare not go. And what I did was I went to Saudi Arabia. And Saudi Arabia people were telling no, people were not, a different kind of world, etc. And again, I'm talking about 2006 or 7. But what I found was totally different. And look at these are Saudi ladies in 2007 or 8.
Hello, we want to introduce our group. We are the pioneers and we believe we can fly. We just completed the Green Belt Six Sigma training with Mr. Amitabh. We enjoyed the course a lot. It provided us with very productive and useful knowledge about statistics and about the Six Sigma and the MIC and the SIPOC and everything. Really, really, we enjoyed it. It was a very, very beneficial course. And thank you very much, really. Go, Mr. Amitabh!
So these are the new things which you learn, when you proceed with something new, totally different. So I could have gone to US, Europe. Anyway, we were doing. We did some programs with the best learnings, and of course, the best money came there. That was tax free. Those days, it was tax free. Now they have started taxing as well. So I explored Europe and did lots of trainings. Anyway, I'll just move a little bit faster because in somewhere in between 2009 and 10, there was a financial issues in the world, and somehow that company, European company where I was consulting, they said, we have our 60% of the business is lost, and now we don't need your consulting services because there are no processes. So what you'll improve? There is what about process excellence? So where is the process excellence? So in this case, and then also in Saudi, so we were operating in two countries those days, one in Denmark and one in Saudi Arabia. So in Saudi Arabia also, the three consultants which I had placed, they actually joined the client company. So there were we lost all the business, and somehow one of my uh, student, he came to my rescue, and he told me that I would like to join you. I'd like to join the well-paying job which he already was having. I would like to quit that job and I'd like to join you. Suddenly, the help appeared from nowhere. So I was actually about to leave. I was taking a flight back to India by closing the business, and his call came while I was going to the airport. So I took a U-turn. In fact, I told the taxi driver to take a U-turn, and I came back and restarted that same office which I had almost closed. Uh, then we sustained, and of course, I learned one thing, and many times I've learned that if everything else fails, Control Alt Delete means sometimes you have to forget whatever has happened in the past and start afresh. And this I have done many times in the whole journey. It was as a professional. For 10 years, I was a hardcore petrochemical engineer. Then I again restarted the whole journey as a process excellence expert. For 10 years, I was like that. And after that, I started as an entrepreneur. And again, it has been now, I think, 13, 14 years. As a hardcore entrepreneur, I have been there. And maybe something new reboot might happen in future. Of course, the annexes, as I was telling, there are a lot of now. There it is in capable hands, and I keep guiding them. But yeah, something else if I would like to do, I'm looking for that. So empower the teams, delegate the jobs. So your skills and hard work alone cannot help you survive in this competitive world. Interdependence on others will. So that's one thing which I learned. Then also some of the things which I would like to tell you is surrounding yourself with people who have more faith in you than you have in yourself multiplies your success. So you will be down. Mentally, we are all weak. Everyone has got their failures and emotions. And if you have people around you who would be always expressing faith in you, that will be really good for you. So always have these people around you. They may not be your professional friends, they may not be very knowledgeable, but they should be your either good friends or family members who would keep you continuing the journey, even despite failures. Health is very important. I've mentioned, given a full chapter in my book on the health part. One thing, which business you should be trying, or what you exactly you should be doing. So there is an ikigai concept or hedgehog concept, which is what you are deeply passionate about, what drives your economy, which will give you money, and what you can be best in the world. So one thing you can be best in the world, you find that out. What will give you money also. Yes, whenever my company was in trouble, I applied the same tools and techniques which we teach other companies, the fishbone diagram, Pareto analysis, and different hypothesis tests, which uh, whenever we were down, we have always tried to use these same techniques to improve our own business. Don't be afraid of failures, because if I ask you, A has got, let's say, 5 successes and B has got, let's say, 10 successes, who's more successful? So everyone will say B is more successful. But one more thing, if I tell you that in this particular profession, whichever profession A and B both are, percentage of success is 10%. So in order to succeed 5 times, A has failed maybe 50 times, but in order to succeed 10 times, B has attempted 100 times. So 95 or say 90 times he failed. And in case of A, 45 times he failed. So the person whom you think is more successful, which you were thinking B is more successful, in fact, B has failed more. So if you fail more, you succeed more. And that's just one simple thought which you can always carry. So if you are failing more, it's a good news always. That means you will be succeeding more. Uh, yeah, so summing it up, I'll just tell you that with my poetry, which I recited in show, Shekhar Suman's show.
ये अमिताभ बनने की कोशिश करते हैं कि कभी कभी मेरे दिल में ख्याल आता है कि जिंदगी ऐसा ऐसा कुछ कहते हैं कविताओं में हाँ लेट्स हियर अ पोएट्री रिटन बाय यू यू राइट वेल
लक्ष्य पथ चाहे कठिन हो, दूर तक धूमिल क्षितिज हो, हार ना तू धुंध से साहस संजो कर, मुश्किलों का सामना कर ढह गया जो महल
ढह गया जो महल तेरा, स्वप्न सा था जो बसेरा, दुखद स्मृतियों को भुलाकर फिर नए निर्माण की तू कल्पना कर हो जो राह में आलोचक, नाम दें तुझको विदूषक, ऐसी कलुषता जीत कर मन में उठी दुर्भावना की कल्पना कर विश्व बंधुत्व सोच तेरी, पर द्वेष की छाया घनेरी, विश्व बंधुत्व सोच तेरी, द्वेष की छाया घनेरी, परस्पर वैमनस्य को हर, शक्ति बनकर शांति की तू साधना कर. So with that, I would like to close.
Right. It's a really great poetry, sir. Hope all the episode will help our audience to gain something from this, and they will create some more stories like Anexas. So thank you for your time from your busy schedule for the Engine Talks episode. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.